Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
Hello, I'm Ann Harder. Welcome to Central Texas Living, the podcast. You may recall the news story from February 6th when former Miss Waco Jamie Blanek had stopped to help at a traffic crash when she was hit and critically injured. Her inspiring survival story and the way the community has rallied around her is our focus today, and it is a joy to welcome you to the show.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
Well, especially because when this happened, I mean, we were just praying that you would live.
Yes, that sounds so crazy to hear, but yes, everyone was praying
you
for
were
that.
gravely injured.
I was.
So let's go back to that night. I know you said you've never done a podcast before, and I said, oh, it's going to be fun. I always try to make it fun for my guests. And then I thought, she's going to be retelling probably the most traumatic thing that could happen to anyone. It may not be that much fun for her.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, now, we can look back and see, we can see God's hand really
for sure
in your survival. So, okay, so you stopped at this crash, and this is kind of near Hewitt.
It was in Lorena.
Oh, it's in Lorena.
Lorena, yes. So I was leaving my brother's house. Our whole family had been over there, and I was headed home, and I came upon an accident that looked really bad, and I got out of my car very quickly and ran to the vehicle. And I don't actually remember anything except one small memory that I believe God gave me for a reason, and he has blocked everything else out because it was so horrific. But what I remember is two small little girls in the back of the car, and their father was in the front, and the one little girl was out of her car seat trying to get to the front. They were screaming, they were crying, and I was telling them to calm down. It's okay. I was checking them, making sure they weren't bleeding or severely injured, and I told them, my name is Jamie. What's your name? Just trying to calm them down,
Mm-hmm.
And I told the one little girl, get back in your car seat, get in your car seat. And the other one, I kept her in her car seat. And then I remember an impact. And that's it. I remember nothing.
When did you come to? When were you back conscious again?
Ooh, and that's the scary part. I came to in the ICU. I was strapped to the bed. I remember seeing my wrists. They were tied to the bed. I couldn't breathe, and I had no idea where I was, had no clue what was going on, and I started hearing all these machines going off and people rushing into the room, and I heard, you've been in an accident, and that's when I heard what had happened to me. So it was all a whirlwind, and that was the next day.
So many hours.
Yes. I had already had surgery. I had already been care flighted, everything. I had already gone through this whole journey and didn't know any of that.
Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy. I was told by everyone, my mom actually came upon the accident right after me.
Oh, no.
And she was with me the whole time. And fortunately...
Now, she's the one that should have her memory wiped out.
She wishes she did not
Yeah,
know
yeah.
everything.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness.
And that just is, oh gosh, that hurts me so much to know that she knows and
Mhm.
that she saw. But she says it's a blessing that she was there,
Oh, yeah.
for sure, that God put her there, because in the worst moment of your life, you think you want your mom with you, and she was with me. And so that definitely was a blessing for sure. And fortunately for me, there was a first responder there that just happened to be driving by.
Really?
And as soon as I was hit, he was with me and he saved my life for
Hmm.
sure. So God put all these little things into place so that I was going to make it. But the whole time I was awake. I was speaking to my mom. I was talking to the guy that saved me.
Oh, really?
I
So
was,
they thought you were conscious and
yes,
aware of.
I was aware the whole time. The whole helicopter ride to the hospital, I was awake. They were telling me I was talking to them the whole time, and I have no clue about any of it.
Have you had training, EMT kind of training? I mean, what to stop and help at an accident like that? Is that just in your DNA to stop and help, or is it something
Yes.
you've been trained to do?
I know nothing at all. I know how to put pressure on bleeding and like
Mm-hmm.
common sense sort of stuff, and I could do CPR, but I could never save someone's life. That is for sure. That's just who I am. I see something, and if I think I can help, I help. I've stopped numerous times at accidents. I've called the police for accidents many times, but this one was so bad I didn't even have time to call 911. But that's just who I am. If I see something, I want to help. If I can open a door for someone, I want to open a door for someone,
Mm-hmm.
carry something for someone. That's just who I am.
This has been such a learning experience, I think, for a lot of your friends, because I know KX6V did a story, I think maybe the next day or so, of the people that were gathered outside the hospital
yeah.
praying for you.
Yeah.
There have been so many people who heard your story and immediately rallied, at least to try to help through prayer.
Yes, that was something that when I woke up, I started asking my mom, does so-and-so know? Do people know? And she was like, yes, Jamie, everyone knows. And I still don't even grasp how many people were praying for me, because I meet people who come up to me and they're like, you're the girl, I've been praying for you. And it's touched me so much. I never thought that I would be the one that people would pray for, that I would need the prayers. But I needed them and I felt them. And you know the saying, the power of prayer? It's a thing, because I could feel that power. As there were 100 people outside of the hospital praying, I could feel it. I didn't know who was out there. I didn't know how many people. I didn't know anything, but you could feel it. And all of my low moments in the hospital, when I was crying and when I was in pain, I could feel this peace come
Mm-hmm.
over me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been amazing. I know that God has been through this entire thing for me. And if you weren't a believer before, I can sit you down and I can tell you, and afterwards you will be a believer, because I'm a huge Disney fan. And my nurse in the ICU, her name was Mickey. Mickey Mouse. It's just little things like
yeah.
that you're like, oh wow, this is a God thing,
Mm-hmm.
just for me.
When did everybody know, okay, she's going to survive this?
I think it had to have been the next day,
Mm-hmm.
because and this breaks my heart, when my mom called my dad to tell him, he had left my brother's house before I did, and my mom was right behind me, so my dad was home before we were.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to call my dad and say, Jamie's been in an accident and I don't know if she's going to make it. And that, I mean, at that point they didn't know, and
Mm-hmm.
they did not know if I would survive the care flight to Temple. It was very scary for everyone, and I think it was probably Sunday that they knew I would be okay. But I may have to fight, different battles along the way. But it was Sunday, I think, before people knew.
What is your recovery status now? I mean, where are you in this? I know it was a traumatic injury because
Yes.
you lost a limb.
I did. I lost my right leg, and so I'm now considered an above the knee amputee. Which is crazy. I am in physical therapy. I go 3 times a week. I have a prosthetic leg that I can walk on. And we're kind of tweaking that now so that I can use it, all the time, because that's going to be my new leg. And I'm very fortunate that I will be able to use a prosthetic. Some people can't, and I will not be in this wheelchair for much longer. So those are the prayers I need now. But my left leg was also very traumatically injured. The whole thing was shattered. And so that's kind of what we're waiting on now, is that to fully heal and to be strong enough for me to walk on that leg. So it's kind of it's been a battle between the 2 legs.
Yeah, you need both of them.
I do. You need both to walk.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
What has been the thing you have learned through this? I mean, what you would share with someone?
Oh, wow. I have learned so much. I have learned that you definitely need to be thankful for everything. We take so much for granted. We try to fly through life. We get caught up in things that don't really matter. And I would say just pause. Let the people who are in your life know that you love them, and really pay attention to what you can do to help other people and to spend more time being thankful. And also, I'm kind of a control freak. So I've had to learn how to let go of the control over anything, because really none of us are in control. God is in control. We have very little that we can do anything about. So don't get caught up in the little things that bother you. Just let things go. I've always been someone who likes to do the right thing, and that's something that I will continue to do, but I'm going to see things so much differently. I also want to help people who are like me, people who've gone through this situation. There's so many amputees out there. There's a huge community that I didn't even know about. Like, I never would have thought about it. And I want to be a part of it. And I want to help other people and let them know there is a lot of pain. It is a lot of work, but on the other side, you can still have a full life. You can still have this beautiful life. And I'm not completely on the other side of it. I haven't done.
It's only been a few months, really.
It's just been 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
So,
remarkable how far you've come.
Yeah.
When you talk about how traumatic those injuries were.
Yes.
But I have to think that technologically speaking, between, the military and so many of our brave men and women in the military were injured and lost lower limbs, that there's got to be some advancements made in helping this kind of injury.
There are incredible types of prosthetics, and the options are totally crazy. I am now just in the beginning parts, but the technology.
There's some that like for running.
Yes, there's blades, and there's microprocessor knees, and for people who have lost arms and hands, they have technology where you can actually move your fingers and pick things up. And I think right now somewhere they're working on feet that can feel like sand if you're walking on sand. And it's just incredible where the trajectory of where the technology for prosthetics are going. And I look forward to being a part of trying things out and saying, this works like this doesn't work that well, and helping people like that, because in 100 years ago, people had peg legs, and
Right.
now you can swim, you can snowboard, you can do whatever, and I'm looking forward to doing all of it.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
And I predict you will be doing all those activities.
Yes.
So I assume, I mean, you're absolutely gorgeous. You're
Oh,
Miss
thank you.
Waco.
Yes.
And so one would think you exercise and all that.
Yes.
So how is that aspect of your life going?
I worked out every day for hours a day. And when I woke up in the ICU at one point, I was like, the gym. When can I go back to the gym?
Yeah, right.
And the doctors were like, Jamie, you're not going to go to the gym for a while. And I was like, what? And so
Not even upper body?
yeah, I know. I'm like, wait, what? I can't do anything? And so I started in my hospital room with my Ensure bottles that I was supposed to be drinking. I was using them as weights. And my nurses would come in and they'd be like, oh, look at you. I'm like, yeah, I just have to work
I gotta
out.
do
I
something.
just have to do it. And that was a struggle. Those things, like, they maybe weigh a pound. They're like 16 ounces. And I could barely pick them up.
Really?
And as I was going through at the hospital doing my occupational therapy, I was like, oh, give me the 10-pound weights. I can do that. I can do 10 pounds easily
Sure.
at the gym.
Yeah.
And I could barely pick it up. And she was
Yeah.
like, why don't you try the 3s? And I
Yeah.
was like, oh no. And so I was in my head, I was like, even though it's only been a couple weeks, I have lost everything. And so as soon as I was released from the hospital and cleared to work out, I went into the gym and I was like, Mom, we're doing upper body. I have to do it. And so I started immediately, and I've been going to the gym. I even do leg day. I have a little bit I can do with my leg. So I'm in the gym. I'm going. And I'll
That's
continue
incredible.
to do things. And I've told my prosthetist, I said, okay, I'm going to want to snowboard and swim, and I hike. And so he's like, oh, you're going to have a bunch of legs, Jamie. I'm like, okay,
You
perfect.
have a
Yes.
wide array to choose
Yes,
from.
I'm going to have several legs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You truly are incredible and inspiring. And
Oh,
what
thank you.
your attitude. And I got to believe that attitude is a big part of this, because what was it like when you learned you lost your leg?
Well, that was shocking.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me.
Could you? I've always heard, you imagine
Yeah.
it's still there. That phantom.
Yes, phantom pain. Yes, that's that's a real thing. I still thought I had my leg and that they were just working on what they were going to do, because I could still feel it. And even to this day, I feel it right now. I
you
feel
really?
my foot tingling. Yes, it's a strange sensation. So, it's been a process. The pain was very, very, very intense in the beginning, and you have to figure out what medications work for you. Because I had a traumatic amputation, my nerves were like shocked by what happened. It wasn't a gradual process or anything like that. It was traumatic. And so I sometimes feel like the pain that I'm feeling is what I felt in the accident.
Mhm.
And there's no way to describe the pain to someone until you feel it, because I thought I knew what it might feel like, but I had no idea. It's pretty bad. So sometimes I just have to, pray it away. But
So it still happens. To you.
yes, I feel it every day.
Do you?
They say it takes, for someone like me who had the traumatic experience, it can take a year. And I've spoken to some people who have had amputations who still 10 years later feel the pain. And there's all kinds of things you can do for that. But I'm just hoping mine goes away so that I don't have to have any more surgeries. But it's wild, Anne, let me tell you, it's crazy. And I never could have imagined.
Mm-hmm. What other surgeries would they propose to do?
So you can have these like processors or something put into, I think, your brain or your spine.
Oh.
That kind of cuts off the nerve signal to your brain. I'm not really sure how all that works, but it's an option. But I think I will be okay, and I do not need that.
That's right. Okay, and it gives us something else to pray toward.
Yes.
As a result. Let's talk a little bit about your Miss Waco experience.
Okay,
when was that?
I was Miss Waco in 2015.
Okay.
And then I was Miss McLennan County after that.
Mm-hmm. And this was with the Miss USA program.
Yes.
So what was your takeaway from that whole experience?
Oh my goodness. So I've always been a person who loves to do service and who is like out in front of things. And so it just gave me a different opportunity to meet new people and to go to different events and to do amazing charity work. I was invited to so many things as Miss Waco, and that really just added on to stuff that I loved to do already. And I made amazing friends that are still my friends to this day. And people always remember me as Miss Waco. It's so sweet. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I did things that I never would have done, and I got to dress up, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I'm like, why did that have to end?
Yeah. But I know you're an amazing ambassador for the city, and still,
thank you,
and still are. And as you say, I mean, life can turn on a dime, and as it did for you, and yet there are other doors that are opening for you to help other people in other ways that you never would have dreamed with.
Exactly. I have always been a part of community service. It's something that my parents instilled in me, and with our business, we were always doing things for charities, and so that's something that I was aware of. And then in high school, we had to do community service, and I wound up having hundreds of hours of community service because I was a sweetheart and because I just loved doing stuff anyway. And then as Miss Waco, I got to do even more and learn about different programs. And then I was asked to be a board member for Fuzzy Friends Rescue. And animals are my passion. And so that just combined two things that I loved, charity and animals. And I have been a board member since then. And I love Fuzzy Friends. Rescuing animals is something that I believe in. And I always thought animals were going to be my charity passion, but now I'm adding in the amputee world to that. So it's just, I'm going to have quite a busy life, I feel like, helping people, doing charity work. And that's totally fine with me.
Yeah. You mentioned your folks' business. So let's give a shout out to Blanek Catering. Of course, I've known your folks for a long time.
Yes.
And they're just amazing. So how are they doing through all this?
Oh, wow. It's been incredible for me to have them with me by my side from the very beginning. I love my parents. They're amazing, and you know them. You've known them for a while. So yes, we have our business, Blanek's Catering, which I was managing, and so now I'm kind of doing a little bit of that, but working on my physical therapy. So my dad has been my driver. He's been driving me to all my physical therapy appointments. He'll drive me to everything that I need. He's just been there with me every step of the way. And my mom is like my emotional support. I'm like crying about things, or if I need something, or if I'm having a bad day, she's the one that's there for me. So we're all kind of keeping each other together. But we we love each other, and we've grown so much closer. It's really sad that it was this event that did that, but we've been a close family.
Sure.
We've always been a close family, you know. I live with them, I work with them. It's been a blessing that I have them, because some people don't have family, and I don't know what I would do without them.
Yeah, you have a great support. Great
I
support
do,
with them.
yes.
Wonderful folks.
Aw.
Well, I love to end these little interviews with a questionnaire. It's similar to
Okay.
the one the late James Lipton would use on his show Inside the Actors Studio. So
I have been there, and I actually
Have you really?
I have been a couple times. Yes, when I lived in New York.
Oh my
I would
good. Well,
go.
tell me more about that.
Oh, so I went to college in New York. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I lived in New York for 5 years.
Wow.
Yes, and so
Oh yeah, and they'd have students in the audience.
yes,
Always.
yes.
Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how many times I've done this and they just look that glazed over.
They're like,
Who's
who's
that?
that? Yeah, no, I'm a big fan.
This is amazing. This is
Yes.
terrific. Okay, well, this is a very loose
Okay.
version.
Okay.
But what is your favorite word?
Oh. Wow, my favorite word. I don't know. Okay, so I do know, but it's not air appropriate. So let me go with I love words that have lots of syllables, and the first one that came to my head was pterodactyl.
Okay.
So we'll go with a dinosaur word, pterodactyl.
All right. Okay, so what's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's just sort of meh.
what is it really? Okay.
Okay.
That's my least favorite word.
Very good. All right. So what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I am a very passionate person, so anything that just like suddenly draws my attention in, definitely anything that has to do with animals. I'm like, oh, if I see something beautiful that I think is beautiful, I'm like intrigued by it. I love mountains. Those are very inspiring to me. Spiritually, I love angels, like with the wings, that sort of thing. Just anything that just captures my eye, I feel like, I'm suddenly engaged. I'm not an audible person, I'm a visual person. So
Okay.
something like that.
Then what turns you off creatively or spiritually or emotionally?
Negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Anything negative I cannot deal with. I'm a very positive person. I like to be happy, and I like to smile, and I like to have fun. And so if something is negative, I'm immediately like, nope, this isn't for me. This is not a Jamie situation.
What sound do you love the most?
What sound do I love the most? I love a choir in a church that will probably give me chill bumps forever.
Very good. What sound do you not like?
I do not like anything really loud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just like a loud voice or a loud bang or a crash is just not it. If it's loud, I think maybe my ears are sensitive. I don't know. I don't like something loud.
Mm-hmm. What profession would you have wanted to do other than, where you are now, what you do?
Yeah, I think I would have loved to have been an actor.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the
The
way
direction
I
you
was
were going. in.
Yeah. I think definitely an actor would have been my dream. Probably Broadway or film, that would have been my dream. And with that, I would have had a platform and done charity work, you know.
Mm-hmm. What job do you know you would not want to do?
I would not want to, only because I don't think I could do it, be a surgeon. I have learned way too much, and I am like, no, I couldn't do it. Even though I am a big Grey's Anatomy fan, and I was like, oh yeah, I should have been a surgeon. No, I now know I cannot do that.
And finally, what do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I want to hear him say, welcome, Jamie, you made it. Like that would be amazing. Oh my gosh, just to be there.
Not, you got here too soon.
Right. Not, that was unexpected. No, I just welcome. Like that that is the ultimate goal, is heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to be there would be incredible.
Well, you are incredible yourself.
Oh,
you are an inspiring young lady, and I thank you so much for sharing it's just an unbelievable thing that you went through, and it's still going through. I mean, you're still rehabilitating.
Yes.
And great things are ahead for you, though, I know.
Thank
Jamie
you.
Blanek, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anne. Oh my gosh, it was such a pleasure.
Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.